In the quiet countryside of rural Montana, beneath wide open skies that stretch endlessly across empty farmland, there is a narrow stretch of road locals refuse to travel after dark. It's called Old Briarwood Road, a place that looks peaceful in the daytime. But at night, the air feels wrong, the silence feels heavy, and the land itself feels like it's listening. This true-style horror story takes place in October 2019, when a young mechanic named Daniel Hayes received a late-night call from his friend Mark. Mark's truck had broken down near the abandoned Briarwood Farm, a place known for strange voices that echo across the fields at night. Daniel, always loyal, grabbed his tools and drove out into the cold countryside. As Daniel drove deeper down the road, the fog thickened, clinging to his windshield. His radio began to crackle with unnatural static, and his phone showed zero signal. The night was too quiet. Even the crickets and coyotes were silent. After 10 long minutes, Daniel finally spotted the blinking hazard lights of Mark's truck on the roadside. He parked behind it and stepped out, expecting to see Mark waiting. But the driver's seat was empty. The truck door was open, and the interior light flickered as if disturbed moments earlier. When Daniel looked closer, he saw something disturbing. Long, deep scratch marks on the door. Not from an animal, not something human either. The scratches were high, uneven, metallic, like blades dragged across the steel. Daniel called out for Mark. "Mark, you hear?" No answer. The wind moved through the distant cornfields, but something about the sound felt off, like there was a voice hidden inside the movement of the stalks. Daniel's flashlight beam shook slightly as he approached the field. He wasn't afraid of the dark, but this darkness felt wrong, heavy, watching. Then he heard it, a whisper, soft, slow, echoing. At first he couldn't understand it, then it came again, clearer. "Daniel." He froze, his blood turned cold. It was Mark's voice. Daniel turned toward the field, shining his light, but saw nothing except an ocean of dead corn stalks swaying in the cold wind. He stepped backward, breathing hard. Then he heard footsteps, slow, heavy, coming from inside the corn, not running, not rushing, just following him. Daniel backed toward the truck, heart racing. Suddenly, tap, tap, tap. Something scraped the truck window beside him, something long and sharp. Daniel turned his flashlight toward the sound and saw a tall, thin figure standing between the cornstalks. Its neck was stretched unnaturally long, its head tilted at an impossible angle. It had no face, only darkness. Yet somehow, it was still staring at him. The whisper came again, now from the figure itself. "Daniel, help me." It was Mark's voice, perfectly copied. Daniel stumbled backward, jumped into the truck, and slammed the door shut. His hands shook as he tried to start the engine. The key turned, but the engine only sputtered. The tall figure stepped out of the corn, slowly walking toward the truck. Its movements were jerky, unnatural, like a puppet pulled by invisible strings. Daniel tried again. Nothing. Again. Nothing. The whispering grew louder, more desperate, more angry. "Help me. Daniel, help me." Finally, the engine roared to life. Daniel floored the pedal. The truck lurched forward, tires skidding on gravel as he sped down the countryside road. In the rearview mirror, he saw the figure step onto the pavement, staring after him. Even though it had no eyes, Daniel didn't stop driving until he reached a gas station far from Briarwood Road. His hands trembled so badly, he dropped his keys. The cashier looked at him and said quietly, "You came from Briarwood, didn't you? People don't go there after dark. Something's been calling folks into those fields for years. The next morning, deputies found Mark wandering near another field 5 miles away. He was alive, but in shock. He claimed he heard a voice calling him, a voice that sounded like his dead grandmother. He followed it into the field. He felt a cold hand on his shoulder, and then everything went black. To this day, locals say the abandoned Briarwood farm is cursed. Some believe a spirit haunts the fields, mimicking the voices of people you trust. Others believe it's something much older, something that uses human voices as bait. And they say if you ever drive old Briarwood Road at night, you will hear whispers too. They come from the cornfields, from the shadows, from wherever that tall, faceless thing waits. So if you're ever on a lonely countryside road, and the night feels too quiet, and you hear someone softly calling your name, don't answer, don't stop, don't look toward the fields, because out there in the rural darkness, not every voice belongs to the living.